Hey, welcome to Kitchen All Over the World, the show where I cook things that I've never tasted before. On today's episode, I'm going to be cooking Tave Kosi from Albania. Hopefully it doesn't turn out too bad. It's a lamb casserole, lamb dish. You probably should have known that. Join me. So the first thing we're going to do with this lamb casserole sort of thing is brown the meat. So I've got a knob of butter and a glug of olive oil. That's about good. Bring these up to medium heat. And I've got about ½ kilo of lamb. This is lamb stew meat, so I'm not sure what part of the animal it comes from, but yeah. And we're just going to want to brown this on all sides. Now that that's looking good, we're going to add 5 cloves of garlic. The recipe calls for 2, but I never follow the recipe in terms of garlic. Can never have too much garlic as far as I'm concerned. And this is maybe 2 teaspoons of oregano. Fresh primo shit. Find it on any high school campus. Got 350 milliliters of water. I'm going to cover that up with, which is about 2 cups. And now I'm going to throw a little bit of salt and pepper. Now I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. I'm going to bring that to a simmer. And once it's simmering, I'm going to cover it up for 50 minutes. So it's been 50 minutes, so I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of rice. I'm using short grain brown rice, but you can use whatever you want. And with that, since the water's kind of low, I'm gonna add 150 milliliters of water. Give it a good stir to submerge the rice. I'm gonna let that go for another 10 minutes. Now for the sauce, that kind of, I guess you call it a sauce, that binds everything together, that we're gonna pour on top of this. I'm going to take 6 eggs in a bowl. And I've got some Greek yogurt here. I'm using non-fat because it doesn't really matter. You've got a lot of fat from the lamb that is going to lend itself to this dish, so no need to add a whole bunch of extra fat. And this is 900 grams of yogurt, and I need 750 or so, so I'll probably put about 3/4, a little bit more in here. And some salt and pepper. So I've got a pan on medium heat. Throw a knob of butter in there and let it melt. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of flour, slowly mixing it while I go, and we're going to make a basic roux. We just want to reach the right consistency, so we may not need all of this flour. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to add our roux to this egg yogurt mix and make sure it's thoroughly mixed in. So there's our finished lamb. And what I'm going to do with it is transfer it into this casserole dish / Pyrex. I don't actually have a casserole, but this Pyrex will have to do. I think it's the right size considering the amount of meat we have. And what you want to do is, this is basically like a shepherd's pie in terms of structure. Consistency will be a little different, obviously, because we're not using potatoes. But I guess the rice kind of takes up part of that job, and so does the eggs, as you'll see. Beat that off a little bit. And we're gonna just cover this stuff up. We want about 2 inches to spare on top. I'm gonna mix that around a little bit. Make sure it's covered though. And we need room because what's gonna happen is as we bake this, this is supposedly going to expand, fluff up, sort of turn into a custard slash cheese slash, what do you call it? What are those big things that puff up the pastries? Anyway, this is some more oregano on top just to top it off. And I'm gonna throw this into our oven, which is preheated to 350 Fahrenheit / 180 centigrade for 35 minutes. So the moment of truth, it's finally ready, and I gotta say this is by far the prettiest looking dish that I've made for this show, and that's just the way that it turned out. I mean, it looks like, the fact that it's in this form, the fact that it rose like it did, it just looks amazing. And the top looks kind of like a fluffy omelet sort of thing, maybe a custard, and then underneath is all this lamby goodness. So without further ado, let me just try and get a bite of everything. It's really hard to put my finger on what's happening, mainly because the flavor is kind of alien to me. The way that the yogurt cooked down, it's got the texture, because it's got the eggs and the yogurt together, it's got the texture of a, is it custard, I guess? Yeah, sort of, or like a light, fluffy omelet. But the flavor is slightly tart because, again, it's yogurt, Greek yogurt, and that with the lamb and with the oregano, it's a really very earthy kind of bold dish. And the crust from where it touched the edges, it's almost turned into a like crusty cheese, like if you have a baked ziti or something like that, where the edges of the pan are just perfectly crisp and slightly, I mean, it's slightly cheesy because it is a dairy product, yogurt. So it creates sort of this, it's almost a lasagna kind of vibe going on, because again, you have that cheesiness, the tanginess of the yogurt and egg, and then you got the meat strewn throughout. It's less of a shepherd's pie and more of a lasagna kind of flavor, especially because the oregano, that kind of brings this sort of Italian flavor, if you will, you know. But I definitely recommend this. It's a little bit of work. It takes, you know, a couple hours. Nothing is too complex in terms of preparation, as you saw. It's super easy.